as masonry naturally decays through exposure to weathering, salt cycling, acid rain and frost damage, it's understandable that there will always be a natural change in the minerals that sit within the internal structure of the stone. Salts are a major cause of damage to stone. They impact on the natural balance of the stone, whilst the salt's incrustations devalue the aesthetic appeal of the facade. Salt and efflorescence staining can be challenging to remove, and the removal can often deliver mixed results. So this should be treated with caution, but through some testing and understanding of the salt cycling and flow of salts through the masonry, good results are possible. Imagine that the stone has a reservoir of salt. If the stone is poorly maintained and exposed, then the moisture will continue to flow through the stone and the salts will continue to leach through the surface. You shouldn't just think of removing the surface salts. You really need to solve the issues that are causing the salts to leach and identify where the moisture and water ingress is entering into the substrate, which can be caused by poor pointing, cracks within the stone, or sections of soft or spalled bricks. No matter how effective the cleaning method is at initially removing the salts, moisture will continue to flow through the masonry and the problem will continue unless the issues surrounding the salt build-out and moisture ingress are properly addressed. It's worth bearing in mind that when we clean a building during the summer, we'll naturally disturb the balance of the salt reservoirs within the stone, and that salts may continue to leach through, especially during warm, wet summers, as these conditions tend to keep the masonry pores open and active. We aim to initially remove salts by trying to brush away the salt buildup. By limiting the amount of water on the substrate, we can reduce the amount of moisture within the masonry. We would then aim to either leave everything as is and keep an eye on the salt flow, or to apply a product to the brick or stone which stops the salts within the masonry becoming active and then flowing to the surface. If the salts are hard and crusted on the surface, we would need to use a diluted acid to remove them. But we would then wash the areas with water to help fully neutralise the applied acid, and whilst then the surface was damp, apply a product which stops the salts becoming soluble within the stone or masonry, thereby preventing it from flowing to the surface. If there are some elements of salt shadowing, a poultice could help gently remove it. The methods used should be site-specific and building-specific. The process of drawing out salt can be speeded up through multiple applications of a poultice, for example, but from my experience, I feel it's best to let the masonry naturally stabilise and allow the reservoir of salts to flow. Ensure you make good any repairs and the areas that sit around the salt build-up watertight. Reduce the flow of moisture into the masonry and you'll stabilise the salt and reduce its flow to the surface. If you'd like further help in removing salts from your building or general information on facade restoration, contact a member of our team today who'll be more than happy to help.